The Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations is an organization of organizations. We are the political instrument in which the member organizations and individuals exercise united political will and action in anti-imperialist resistance. The BIBC is an activist organization that believes in self-determination for African people and is led by African people. In addition, while the coalition exercises united political will, we also recognize that the representative coalition organizations have different political philosophies. The Black is Back Coalition for Peace, Social Justice, and Reparations, having thoroughly discussed the basis of agreement between the organizations of the coalition, commit to upholding the following principles of unity. Number 1, the character of the coalition as anti-imperialist. We unite with the principles to fight against imperialism in all of its manifestations, such as colonialism, neocolonialism, Zionism, military occupation, proxy wars, and economic embargoes and trade restrictions. Equally as important, we recognize and agree that there is an undeclared war devastating African people in the U.S. Number 2, we agree with the principle of equal democratic representation and voting rights of the organizations within the BIBC. Number 3, we agree to respect the ideological differences between the organizations of the coalition. Number 4, we agree to resolve our disagreements resolved through a democratic voting process. Number 5, we stand in solidarity with the anti-imperialist resistance occurring all over the world. Number 6, we agree that African people worldwide must have self-determination and that the oppressed peoples of the world must have self-determination as well. Number 7, we agree that African people worldwide are due reparations from the colonialist, imperialist powers of the world.
Guided by these 7 principles, the Coalition has engaged in important political work for over the past year. In August 2016, we held the National Black Political Agenda for Self-Determination Preparatory Conference. Here we saw Black people make their way from New York, Washington, D.C., Boston, Florida, Alabama, and elsewhere to the First Unitarian Church in Philadelphia on the 13th and 14th to declare their own political agenda. Speakers included Lisa Davis, Ralph Pointer, Glenn Ford, and Chairman Omali Yeshitela, as well as the mothers of slain young Africans. It was at this conference that Black people united with and adopted our declaration and 19 points for the National Black Political Agenda. Attendees to our conference united to return to their homes to organize state conventions and win the masses to this revolutionary declaration and 19 points. Throughout the month of October 2016, we held state conventions in Florida, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Missouri. We also held state conventions in Kansas, Texas, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. The coalition mobilized nearly 300 Africans from these areas to attend our National Black Political Agenda for Self-Determination Convention 2 days before the U.S. presidential elections on November 5th and 6th in the imperialist capital of Washington, D.C. Ours was a convention for Black working class resistance. Beginning with a rally at Malcolm X Park, the Coalition Steering Committee members made speeches outlining the importance of the Black community having our own agenda. Mothers and relatives of Black people murdered by the U.S. domestic military force called the police also had the opportunity to be heard. We then took off on a militant 2-mile march to the imperialist White House, where another militant rally was held across the street at Lafayette Park.
Of not being able to assemble and have the right to speak. For all these mothers who are here, whose children and family members, whose husbands have been murdered by an arm of the government that's called the police. There is no right for assembly and no right for freedom of speech. But we are here anyway, Obama is leaving now, but black is back. And I think it's really important for us to be able to say that what is knocking on the door of the White House is not just a small organization, but a black revolution is knocking on the door of the White House. Our people demand to be free. And it doesn't matter who's in the White House. It doesn't matter what color they are. It doesn't matter what party they belong to. We are determined to be a free people. Yes. We are determined not to see another generation of black people have to live under foreign and alien domination again. We should be able to control our own lives, and that's what this is a step toward.
The second day of the convention was held at Blackburn Center in Howard University before a crowded hall of enthusiastic and determined Africans. Omali Yeshitela, in his role as chairman of the Black is Back Coalition, kicked the day off with the recitation of the Declaration and National Black Political Agenda for Self-Determination. The entire 19 points of the National Black Agenda was then read and discussed with participation from the audience that was finally experiencing a new capacity to take control of our own lives.
Led by Diop Olugbala, we held the DHS press conference at Philadelphia Department of Human Services on January 5th in response to the colonial stranglehold that the DHS state control agency has on the black community. Here, we made it clear that our children belong at home with their parents, not sold and controlled by the imperialist colonial state. Then, on January 14, 2017, we held the Black is Back rally for black self-determination again in Washington, D.C. The African community came out in droves for this important rally. Our speakers included Glenn Ford, Mario Kimberly, Omali Yeshitela, and M1 of Dead Prayers. Young DJ Cool Flash jumped on the turntables as M1 hit the stage for a Black Power performance.
Hey, look, I throw a Molotov cocktail at the precinct. You know who you think? Organized good under I-10 banners. Red, black, and green instead of gang bandanas that they got. Spying on us through the radio and then hitting cameras in the street like white society. With no respect for my people's right to privacy. I take a slug for the cause like QEP. While all them fake rappers try to copy Jay-Z. I want to be free to live, able to have what I need to live. Bring the power back to the street where the people live. Working for crumbs, filling up the prisons. Dying over money and relying on religion for help. We do for self like ants in a colony. Organize and welcome to a socialist economy. A way of life based off the common needs. And all my comrades is ready to spread the seed. The average black male live a third of his life in the jail cell. Cause the world is controlled by the white male. And the people don't never get justice. And the women don't never get respected. And the problems don't never get solved. And the jobs don't never pay enough. So the rent always be late. Can you relate? Yo.
We held our 2-day electoral campaigns full on April 8th and 9th for African activists who want to open up a new front for the struggle for self-determination in the U.S. After years of organizing mass actions, conventions, and conferences to promote self-determination while fighting Democrats, Republicans, and their black sycophants in our own communities, the coalition has called on black militants to invade the system white rulers have created to exercise white political power. The electoral candidates school trained African working class people on how to use the white electoral process as a method of fighting to advance our own interests as colonized and oppressed people through the national agenda for self-determination. We had featured presentations by people such as the legendary civil rights attorney John Doe, Glenn Ford of the Black Agenda Report, Omali Yeshitela of the African People's Socialist Party, and other noted and commented resources.
We use the electoral process because our people are in pain. Our people are in pain. Huey Newton always taught us in the Black Panther Party survival programs pending the revolution. So there's certain things you got to do. You can't go out there talking a lot of rhetoric to our people and you're not putting nothing on the table, you can't deliver no jobs, you can't stop the community from being gentrified, you can't do anything of that, but our rhetoric, our ideology is correct. But people, like Amilcar Cabral said, bear in mind, the people are not fighting for ideas in your head. They're fighting for material benefits and a future for their children.
The school taught the history of African involvement with the electoral system in the U.S., qualifications for running for office, how to raise money, and how to frame a campaign message. Black is Back members in New York and New Jersey convened in Manhattan for the annual Puerto Rican Day Parade to support anti-colonial struggle and political prisoner Oscar Lopez Rivera on June 11, 2017.
At the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and we are supporting Oscar Lopez Rivera. We say Viva Oscar and free all freedom prisoners.
Our Black Community Control of the Police Working Group did extensive work over the past year. Some of this included community cleanup and various marches. We also held the Pigs in Your Hood Ain't No Good March down Ridge Avenue to demand Black community control of the police on June 24.
When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Revolution! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? When do we want it? Now! Who run these streets? Not the police. Who run these streets? The Black community. Who run these streets? The Black community. Who run these streets? The Black community.
We attended and did outreach at the International African Arts Festival from July 1st to July 4th. Here, we were able to win the people to the campaigns of the Black is Back Coalition. Over the past year, the coalition held mobilizations and events geared towards building Black anti-imperialist resistance. We call on you to join and build the coalition. Build the anti-imperialist political instrument. For more information, visit blackisbackcoalition.org. Black is Back.
Look.